The city of Chicago is a beautiful place, and it's the third largest economy in the nation, and it has so much potential in that city. Some of our best educational institutions come from the city of Chicago. University of Chicago is one of them, but we all know that Chicago is also home to African American gospel music and home to so many people, such as the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton, the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan, and many others that shall remain nameless at this particular time. But one may ask, with all of Chicago's black talent, what has stopped Chicago from reaching its potential? And then we could always point back to black leadership, because Chicago, although a liberal and democratic city, has been typically one of the most segregated cities in America. Blacks on one side in poverty, whites on the other side that's flourishing.
As if the youngsters growing up in the older and poorer parts of America's cities didn't have enough problems, many of them have to grow up scared. They are in fear for their lives, literally, because of gang violence. Bill Schechner, who reports on the young for the NBC News program Main Street, has a report tonight from the urban battleground.
Chicago's West Town area. Tough, poor, dominated by gangs, and dangerous, especially for the innocent. Rafael Maldonado, who's been shot at and beaten.
You don't even know when they're going to attack you until that happens. You don't know when it's going to happen, so you got to be on your guard at all the time.
LaShawn Smith, who's seen a 6-year-old child die.
I sent a little friend of mine that was visiting with her relatives around to the corner store. I gave her some money, sent her around to the corner store. While she was around the corner, the gangbangers started shooting back and forth across the street. She got caught in the middle and was killed.
It is the kind of thing that happens here, where gangs stake out turf, make clothing and colors into a uniform. Non-members have to abide by the rules, live like civilians in a war zone, even though it is the neighborhood of their birth.
But that was supposed to change when Chicago started getting its influx of African American mayors. In 1983, we saw our boy Harold Washington become the first black mayor in the city of Chicago. Then after that, Eugene Sawyer. But the city got real excited when we saw Lori Lightfoot. And Lori Lightfoot was a lady that was supposed to change things. She was the first open lesbian black woman to serve a mayor of any major city. And she comes with a lot of credentials. University of Michigan, University of Chicago, and a huge career as a U.S. attorney and also in private practice. But Lori Lightfoot did a terrible job as the mayor of Chicago. Crime got worse. Safety and public issues got worse. Fiscal issues got worse. Coronavirus was handled terribly, but also silly controversies happened. Like in May 19, 2021, Lori Lightfoot said she would only deal with reporters of color for interviews on the occasion of her 2-year anniversary in office. But the issue is her wife, Amy Eshelman, is white. Like, get real. So Lori Lightfoot was terrible, and so she had to go. Introducing somebody who was supposed to be changed was this guy, Brandon Johnson, a teacher, a progressive, somebody who was supposed to get Chicago back on track. And man, he's everything that folks wanted to see. A married black man to a black woman with 3 kids, upstanding in the community. He's what Chicago wanted to see. But stop the show. Looks like Brandon Johnson had other ideas. Although African Americans worked hard to put him as the 57th mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson had other ideas. His ideas were to increase immigrants into Chicago, and he did it at God's speed, frustrating people who voted him in as a black mayor. And this is where this passionate speech came from this particular sister in Chicago.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to say good afternoon to the City Council members, the media over there, and to my brother, Mayor Brandon Johnson, who we fought on some fronts together. And all those fronts we fought on together when I was with SEIU or anything else out there in the street, Brother Brandon, you have always been on the right side of history. That's why I campaigned for you, and that's why I voted for you. That's why I encouraged others to vote for you, because I knew and I felt in my heart you would be on the right side of history. And that meant including your people, descendants of enslaved Africans. Brother, you got to stop the buses from coming in. You just got to stop the buses coming in because it's hurting your people. I'm talking about descendants of enslaved Africans. We're hurting the things that our people been on the waiting list come for. The immigrants are coming in, getting everything, and I don't have time to go into all of it because I have another concern. When I used to come down here under Harold Washington and we were fighting Ed Burt, Badoliak, and the rest of the haters of black people that sat in these seats down here, we had 2 Latino aldermen. We had Luis Gutierrez and Jesus Garcia. They never pushed a black woman around. They never voted against black people's issues. They never held meetings behind Mayor Washington's back to form committees. They never tried to take black wards and black precincts. I thought we were on our way to a black and brown coalition. But you know what? I thought I'd see it under you. But you know what? Carlos Ramirez, he spoiled all of that. And it was disrespectful to every black man down there on that floor, including you, that he's comfortable enough to put his body in front of a black woman, you understand, and tell her what she can't do, because she know ain't no strong black men down there that's going to confront him. He know his people got his back. I wish it had been me he pushed. But I'll just go on to say this. Something has got to be done. Because all black women ain't satisfied with Emma Mick's apology and forgive. We ain't for it. But back to the buses, my brother, please. Coming from your elder. We've been talking. The elder's been talking. We're looking for you to help us on this issue. Stop the buses. Please stop those buses from coming in here. Will you please? Thank you. Please.
But again, he sat there and took it on the chin like a sucker. And 6 months in, he's concerned about doing this with immigrants.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is speaking out about the ongoing migrant crisis. During a news conference, Johnson said he's been in touch with the White House and state officials for nearly 20 weeks, asking for aid and help with coordination. The mayor is doubling down on the importance of helping the asylum seekers.
You know, this is a global crisis. The policies that are impacting population shifts around the globe is affecting us all. These are asylum seekers. These are not illegal people. The moment they step ground on American soil, they are now officially protected by international law.
The mayor says it is important for local and federal governments to coordinate and streamline their efforts, including with leaders from Texas.
That's right. Brandon Johnson, just like Lori Lightfoot, is continuing to ruin the great city of Chicago. But my question is this. What did you think was going to happen? I mean, let's just look at the city of Chicago in the last, 50 years. Now, true, there were white Democratic mayors, but ever since we got to Harold Washington on forward, it's been a Democratic city, and you've had whites and blacks both ruining the city, making it worse and worse and worse, and making African Americans the mayor of Chicago. People thought that, hey, these are our people, then they will look out for us. But black people have forgotten that African Americans who are Democrats are not African Americans. They're Democrats first, okay? So they are not aligned with you by race or identity. They are aligned by a political party. I thought you would have knew that from Barack Obama, who so many African Americans thought that you were going to get change by hiring Barack Obama. But Barack Obama is loyal to the Democratic Party. He's not loyal to African Americans per se. And that's exactly what you thought when you were getting Brandon Johnson. You were not going to get somebody loyal to the African American community. He may have said that. He's loyal to Democrats. And I think that's possibly fair because not everybody in Chicago is black. Here's what needs to happen. Black people need to be loyal to each other outside of politics. We need to think about what's going to happen as far as the private sector and for those things that we want from any mayor. Doesn't matter if that mayor is white or black or whatever the case is. We need to besiege that particular mayor with our agenda. when you're intellectually apathetic towards city politics or local government politics, which tends to be the case in our community, you're looking for a handout when you just elect somebody, but you're not doing the work. And Brandon Johnson don't care about what happens to the black community there. He cares about his tenure as a mayor. Brandon Johnson didn't want to get hired to serve Black Chicago. He wanted to get hired to serve his own political issues and his own political career. He's a politician, just like Lori Lightfoot, just like Richard M. Daley. These are all Democrats. These are all mayors. But that's what you get when you think like that. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.